Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
And now, comics.
Hello, welcome to And Now Comics. I'm Lou Gonzalez. Joining me this week, we got a full house. So we got Ryan Fretz.
Hello.
We got Connor Irving.
Would you like to buy a boat?
We got John Scott.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
And John Seiler.
I'm very sick, so as you listen to this show, slowly listen to me shed this mortal coil.
Yes, that is why John is very low. You either need to turn yourself up real high.
There we go.
Yeah. So we do have, since we haven't been on for like 2 weeks, there's a decent amount of news. I'll start with the one that I think is most interesting. I have not yet read this book, I have the audiobook downloaded on my phone. But they are, Dark Horse is going to adapt Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which...
Yeah, it's very good.
Yes.
It's very good.
Yes.
That's a solid book.
I'm looking here with a whole swath of artists, including Mike Mignola, P. Craig Russell, and Jerry Ordway. So this is so Dark Horse adapted American Gods. I think after the show was starting.
That one season of the show we got.
Yeah.
That one season, that absolutely shame it never went past that.
Yep. And so the story is Gaiman's adaptation of several Norse myths, including the beginning of the world all the way to Ragnarok. So I think this sounds fucking amazing. I love Gaiman.
It is.
You love Gaiman?
Yes, I love Gaiman.
It is, and I cannot recommend that book enough. I got it, I think, last year for like a Christmas gift, and I have not read a book as quick as I have with that one, or that's very rare for me.
Yeah, I have the audiobook on my phone. I believe Neil Gaiman is reading it. So
that's even better.
That's how I got it. It's very
I might put that on my car ride for like my holiday drive.
Do it.
It's super relaxing, and it's super quick too. It's only like, I think 6 to 8 hours, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you turn that on like 1.5, you could be done that in like a car ride.
I'm also glad I'm not the only person that does that with podcasts and audiobooks.
Podcasts not so much, but audiobooks 100%.
Yeah, I do it with some podcasts depending on like the type. If I listen to like a history podcast, which is basically like an audiobook, I'll do it.
Fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
They usually have like the good like audio quality, so it makes sense to increase. But enough down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, this is very exciting. I don't see them putting a date on it, so I'm guessing sometime next year.
No, it says at the very bottom of the article,
May.
Norse Mythology 1, May 27th.
And it'll be 18 issues, so hopefully that doesn't take, in DC time, that's like 4 years.
Oof.
Okay, but this is Dark Horse, so.
Yes, no. So that's like it'll be monthly, so it'll be like a year and change. Probably a year and a half.
That's not bad.
So I guess I'll start with the other one I put in here. So Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman's getting a new costume. I only put it in here because I think this costume is badass looking. I really like how it's kind of a throwback to her original costume.
Yeah.
I know I haven't been reading her, but I know, Siler, you're like a huge fan of Jessica Drew recently. So
Yeah, there was that series from a couple years ago that I really loved. And when this book got announced, one of my kind of main fears was that they were going to like kind of disregard a lot of the stuff that happened in that 18-issue run with her, because like also that first image they showed was her having her old costume again, which I was like, oh, man. But from what it sounds like, and the comic or the new costume design is done by Chris Anka, who is great. Like I think this is like a kind of a good blend of the old costume and the new costume in this like kind of perfect meld. I like the yellow triangles on like the back of the calves.
Yeah, that's the kind of the part I like, that they bring back like the yellow triangle like that on her head and her hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think it's like a really good look, and it's like depending upon it's like if it's like they still talk about her having a kid, like her stuff with like her relationship with the porcupine. Like if they like still kind of keep that stuff in continuity, like I'll totally be on this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as I'm like now getting back into Marvel. I'm kind of taking a peek at other things I might want to give a little look at. But yeah, this design, I kind of like how it's actually giving kind of homage to Spider-Man, which her character never did really before. At least to me, like with the way the webbing is in the suit. but it's
Yeah.
like yellow webbing. It looks like in the cover image.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell if it's black or yellow.
It looks yellow.
Yeah. But yeah, like I like that idea, and it's like much more stealthy than her old school costume, but which was I never thought was like a horrible costume. Like I always liked it. It's not as bad as other female superhero costumes have been in the past.
That's true.
But yeah, I really do like the new one. It kind of reminds me of like Armored Daredevil kind of colorations in like a good way, but yeah. Oh, not much there. I just like the redesign. And then now we have like 2 stories of more books being added to the X-Men.
Yeah.
Cable's getting his own book that's part of Dawn of X, and then the other one is Hellions.
Hellions. So the new Cable series will launch in March by Jerry Dugan and Phil Noto. Phil Noto's great. Jerry Dugan is fine. I'm like I'm not like I guess like super sold on Kid Cable yet. But you know, I've been liking all the books so far. I'm the only one I'm not caught up on is Fallen Angels. But you know, I'll evidently this book is replacing Fallen Angels along with the other book, Hellions. So that's why you won't see like those books go forward or Fallen Angels go forward.
That makes sense to me. Like I would prefer some of these extra titles to be kind of short runs. I don't want to have like 17 X books like running simultaneously.
Oh, we're getting close.
I know. And well, this is only the second solo series that Cable won. The Hellions book is a new team that looks kind of like, I'm trying to think here.
So the team of Hellions is Havoc and Psylocke, like the Asian Psylocke, and then Mr. Sinister, along with Wild Child, Scalp Hunter, Orphan, and the Baby Maker. Or Orphan, or I'm sorry, Nanny and the Orphan Maker. Sorry, Orphan Maker.
Baby maker.
Yeah, sorry.
just goes around making babies.
Well, Nanny's the one that looks like the egg, and then Orphan Maker is like the one purple, and then Empath and Scalp Hunter. It's just like what a motley crew this is.
It's like oh, let's get all our '90s characters that no one remembers together.
Well, like
I'm just glad that it's sassy Sinister from like. I'm just glad it's that one and not the other one.
Well, if I remember right, Nanny and Orphan Maker are Morlocks, and then like of all the Marauders, or you know, that they chose, like I'm kind of surprised that like 2020 we're getting a book with Scalp Hunter.
Yeah. But you know, he could also be
like Vertigo or a Harpoon. It's like the guy named Scalp Hunter.
Yeah, but the thing is, like with these covers and stuff, most of the books have really not shown all the characters they've been putting on their covers.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of been like a fake out in many of the like, because I think it's like X-Source has had like none of the people that have been on the covers until maybe like the newest one. I also think
it's very weird that we're getting a book with Wild Child, since he's so tied to Sabretooth, and if we all remember Hoxpox, that guy got bored hardcore.
Yes, he was exiled.
Yeah, they haven't announced that book yet.
I'm sure that'll come at I'm sure the exiled book will be like the end, like whatever the end of this is, because I'm sure they're gonna exile some more people.
We'll get a few more, some cool ones.
All right, and then we have the Giant Days spinoff.
I'm very excited for this book. Giant Days was one of my favorite books of this decade. Recently just ended, and John Allison, along with Max Siren, who's creative team for Giant Days, announced that they're going to be doing a mini series next year with Charlotte Lottie Grote, who was one like okay, so like John Allison also writes Bad Machinery, which have not done like a big dive yet, but evidently so Lottie shows up in Giant Days as like a preteen. And then but she's also a character in Bad Machinery as like a teen detective. And Wicked Things is like her in like her early 20s, like being like a post-teen detective. So I'm like kind of like very excited about this.
That sounds fun. It sounds like a nice fun book.
And it makes me like also just like kind of go back and reread or like do a big dive on Bad Machinery and then reread Giant Days to see like how many characters showed up in both books.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the story. Like, what randomly caught my eye is that they drew in Maria Bamford's like comedy special, like as a poster in their room.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I like the art style too. It's like very, I don't know.
Oh,
It's-
this is Max Siren. Like, this is what all of Giant Days looks like. And I think, like, Max Siren is, like, supremely underrated. Like, I think it's like you could pick up, like, any random issue of Giant Days, and there's just, like, some weird paneling or some cool, like, thing that they do with their art that, like, makes that book, like, look so different. Like, the cartooning of the faces is so good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like the one page where it's like the way they'd have her eyes is like I like the like. There's like 4 panels, and it's like 4 completely different kind of cartoon level expressions. It kind of reminds me of Kim Possible, like the style.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can see that.
I'm not saying like in a negative way, like that kind of like more grown uppy Nickelodeon kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely maybe I should check out Giant.
I was
I
just
like-
thinking that.
I'm like also just like everyone's like doing like their comics of the decade list, and I'm very like happy to see Giant Days like on a lot of those lists because I'm like, oh
my god,
cool, like that book, like that because you know it's like it finally won the Eisner this year, and I feel like this year was like the year that like everyone's like, yeah, like this book has been really good for like 50 issues.
It's like I can't even imagine doing like a best of the decade list. That's way too long.
It's like kind of like fun to like read like a lot of people's lists because I forgot Hawkeye was this decade. It's like,
damn.
Yeah, decade's
I-
a long ass time. That's
I-
20 to 2010. That's
I was like-
crazy.
I was like, man, like that just feels forever ago. And you know, it's nice kind of like revisiting like through other people's lists of like, yeah, like that did come out this decade. Like,
I can't. Was it even New 52 yet? Like DC wise?
yeah,
No, that
2010?
was,
yeah, we were in the New 52.
no, I thought that was 2011.
So yeah, you have like 3 different eras like of DC Comics in the decade of like continuities.
Yeah, New 52 was 2011.
Oh my god, it feels forever ago.
I know. So you have like whatever the post.
God, what a life I've lived since the New 52 started.
Yeah. So you have like post Final Crisis, Flashpoint, New 52, and the Rebirth DC continuity all in this decade.
Oh my god, why am I so
Now-
reading DC now?
We'll get to it.
Now, speaking of Marvel and DC, I mean, this is kind of going into spoilers for Doomsday Clock. I just saw this, and I'm kind of okay that I saw this. Do I care if I spoil one small bit they mentioned in here?
Well,
Is
I
it
know
the
what you're
Marvel
gonna-
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we
Okay.
hold until we get, because I do want to talk a good chunk about Doomsday Clock.
I haven't
So
read the
let's
whole.
just-
I haven't read any of the comic. I just know about this one bit,
Okay,
and I'm
yeah,
very, very excited.
Yeah. So there's the free comic book day stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff announced in here. Funny that Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman's featured in the Critical Role for Dark Horse, I guess, as a backup story.
Yeah, DC or Dark Horse usually does like a 2-in-1 for like a lot of their free comic book day stuff.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that their critical Critical Role is like one of those things I always hear people talk about, but I know it's popular. I have no idea what it is.
It's like a YouTube of people playing D&D.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a big DC Secret Project book. Obviously, there's a big like the big Marvel book is a new X-Men book, which
No surprise.
no surprise. But like they also like the free comic day book for Image is I guess a new Robert Kirkman book by Chris Samney called Firepower.
Yeah, the only one of
Okay.
these things that popped out to me was this Jack Kirby thing. I was just like, oh, I want that. I want to see what that's about. If it's like kind of like a comic book, like mini bio thing about Jack Kirby, that would be awesome.
I'm actually like very kind of interested to know what that new Jeffrey Brown book is. He's like a guy who used to do like a lot of slice of life comics about himself, like clumsy and unlikely. One of my favorite books he did is a book called Incredible Change Bots, and it's like a stupid version of Transformers. I love it. But a lot of people know his art now because he did a lot of the Vader and Son books.
Oh, okay.
But he has like a new kids book coming out called Only Matter of Space Time.
I like that name.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, like you don't get new Jeffrey Brown very often, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like I've definitely bought those books for. I think I bought them for like 3 different sets of parents to read to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've definitely bought the Leia one for my brother, and I'm pretty sure we got like the Vader one for like my wife's cousins with Luke. So that's pretty awesome. And then I guess our last thing before we get into Doomsday Clock is Red Sun. So the date got announced. What is it?
See, I didn't realize the date got announced. I just saw the trailer.
Yes, March 17th. I'm sorry,
Okay.
digital starting February 25th, and then the Blu-ray combo pack will be March 17th.
Okay, I literally watched this trailer, and my first thought was, please don't shit the bed. Please, oh please,
Yeah,
oh
I know.
please don't
Hush
shit
was-
the bed.
Hush was so bad. Was there anything after Hush?
Yeah, like, no, was Batman v Ninja Turtles before or after?
After.
Okay, so that one.
Yeah, I guess I kind of put that as like a separate thing.
And we're talking about in the main continuity of what they've been establishing here, then no.
Yeah, I guess I mean it was like their solo kind of stuff. Like
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't know.
Wonder Woman Bloodlines was the only thing, and that was it.
I don't even remember that coming out. I guess I'll have to look in the DC app. Yeah, I don't see how there's like nothing in the plot of Red Sun that they would need to edit for any reason. Like
I know, but it's still just kind of like, please don't. Like, I've
Like,
already been
there's-
burned twice by you guys.
yeah, but there's not like I feel like the Killing Joke one is more like the problems with the original story, and then they added a bunch of shit for no reason because they needed to fill in time.
That made it
Even worse.
actively worse.
Yes.
And then like Hush is like, oh, they just completely changed the end of that story to kind of
Make no
create some
sense.
sort of a twist that like as opposed to like, oh, everybody knows like, oh, you introduced this random character, so that's gotta be the thing. But then they just did a twist that was really, really fucking dumb. So yeah, I don't know. It looks great. I like the art design of everything.
Another thing about DC, was it animation as Harley Quinn picked up, and it's a lot better after the first episode.
I have not watched it yet, but I've actually only heard good things.
Yeah, it gets like the first episode's kind of like okay, but then after that it picks up. Like
I'm
the
gonna watch
plot is actually pretty funny. I don't know if we can talk about it since you guys haven't seen it yet, but
I haven't seen it. I kind of want to find out eventually, but
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same thing with Doom Patrol. I still haven't even seen Doom Patrol, and I need to hunt that down.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the cast of this because I see like Dietrich Bader, who's in the Harley show as Batman. I guess he's also doing Batman in this.
Yeah.
He was also Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I really like him. I think he's a very underrated actor and comedic actor.
I think he's a very underrated Batman.
Yeah, he gets a really I remember listening to him on like old school Fat Man on Batman when Kevin Smith had him on, and I really liked what he talked about. And his Batman was really good.
I'm literally looking at this cast for the Batman show. You have Gus Fring from Breaking Bad as Lex Luthor. You have Jacob Tremblay as Damian Wayne.
Oh yeah, by the way, we haven't talked about Harley Quinn, right?
No,
No.
I don't think anybody's watched it but Ryan, unless you watched it.
I watched like a lot of clips of that show, and I think it's really funny.
yeah. It's Lou. I think you're gonna like Kite Man. he's
I
hilarious.
guess my biggest issue going into it was like I didn't like what Kaylee Cuoco was doing, and it was very off-putting to me.
I didn't realize. Okay, so like I think it's like kind of funny that Dietrich Bader is Batman because it kind of just feels like it's like an adult extension of Batman Brave and the Bold. Like it kind of has like that weird humor to it, but
Yeah, it's like isn't it very like fourth wall breaking?
I think it's like basically it's like if you took like I imagine that pitch for that show was like, what if we took Batman Brave and the Bold and mixed it with Rick and Morty, and that's basically what that show is. And I don't know, like I thought like a lot of the clips I've seen of that show are like really funny, and I like Harley and Ivy together. I like Ivy in that show.
Yeah, Ivy's like great, but
I'm just kind of amazed at the cast they have surrounding it. Again, Wayne Knight is the Penguin. That's
How come Wayne Knight's not Bruce Wayne.
Ha ha ha.
Actually, that would be really funny if Newman was Batman.
Yeah, but like you say that, but then Dietrich Bader is Batman, and Dietrich Bader is like the guy from the Drew Carey show, and the guy from like Office Space that's like the weird neighbor with the bullets.
Okay. I know who you're talking about. It's the guy. He's from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Wayne Knight.
Don't call me Dotson, that guy.
Oh, that's really funny.
Newman. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I was watching him yesterday because that was his first appearance as the Penguin, and I was like, "Is that Newman? Is anyone just giving this kid an umbrella? What's going on here?"
Oh man. So let's talk about Doomsday Clock. So it's finally over. It's been but 2 years and a month.
2 years and 1 month. Jeez.
Yeah.
But they did it. They finally did it.
did.
I honestly thought they were gonna kick it back to January. Like I did not. I thought. I was like, it's not going to come out this month.
Well,
it was
I guess
the greatest Christmas gift.
One thing that I found ridiculous, and I wonder how much shit they're going to get for this, is there's 2 full pages of just black.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not joking. It's page 21 and page 22, half of page 21, page 22, and page 23 are just black.
Yeah, it starts off with like all you see is like a blue glow, and then it fades to black for like 2 pages. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" I thought it was like an ad, and then like my ad blocker kicked it off, but it was just 2 pages of blank.
Yeah, but like otherwise, like I actually really like how they tie everything up. I think it is a really good ending in many ways to the Watchmen universe. A completely different one than the TV show, which I also really, really like. But I do think they kind of share 2 similar ideas in them. That I don't want to go to spoil the TV show more so than the comic. But there is a huge part, which I'm sure everyone's going to be talking about, which is when Dr. Manhattan's addressing the metaverse, is that he looks into the future, and there's like, I'm trying to find the exact page when he starts like saying all the goddamn shit. A bunch of stuff about the future of DC Comics, I guess he's revealing.
Like on July 10th, 2030, the Secret Crisis begins.
Yes. He says like 4 different crises. I'm trying to. Oh my god!
Throwing Superman into a brawl across the universe with Thor himself and a green behemoth stronger than even Doomsday, who died protecting Superman from these invaders.
Cool.
Yeah, they do reference Crisis on Infinite Earths. We see the Anti-Monitor, and they reveal that the Earth 1 in that book is now Earth 1985. Earth 52 is the new 52 Earth, where all that stuff happened. And we get kind of the reset of the Legion and the, what do you call it? The Justice Society. Oh man, what are they? I'm trying to. Where does it? Do you remember what page that was on with all the?
It'll be before. It should be before like the blackout.
Oh, it's before that.
Yeah, it should be because he's still like doing his monologue in front of Superman, like when he's getting like hammered by like everyone.
I thought it was after that.
It could be.
Oh yeah, it's after. It's like right after that. So it's like. In the 2020, Superman's timeline is bombarded by the reckless energies of the old gods, and once again warping the metaverse. July 2nd, 2025, a crisis unlike any others is coming. They will call Time Masters erupts. In its wake, Superman is revitalized, and his greatest allies return. And then they keep going on. And it's like in 2026, the timeline is restored, and Earth 5G is born. And in June 17, 2026, Superman goes on a quest to find Bruce Wayne's lost daughter so she can save Bruce's son.
Wait, did they say Earth 5G?
Yes.
So wait, is there going to be a promotion with Verizon or something? Like,
no, this goes to it's about the 5th generation. We talked about it a while back, and that Rebirth is, I think, New 52 to Rebirth is the 4th generation. So like Golden Age is 1, Silver, or I'm sorry, what comes first, Silver or Golden in comics? There's like the Justice Society, like the 1940s or whatever. There's like the Crisis on Infinite Earth is the 1st gen. Crisis on Infinite Earth is the 2nd gen. Final Crisis is the 3rd generation. And then New 52 to Rebirth is the 4th. And then so this new era will be the 5th generation, and that's why it's 5G.
Oh, okay. I just heard 5G. I'm like the phone?
Yes. Yeah, and then the 2030 thing is the Secret Crisis, where Superman battles Thor and a green behemoth defeats Doomsday. and then it keeps going on and on. It goes to like 2038, 2045. So I think a lot of it, besides what it's talking about that's coming up really soon, is not like 2030 is 10 years from now. I don't think that Marvel crossover that they're hinting at is in 10 years.
No, that's gonna happen.
They were referencing like a new DC versus Marvel like a couple months ago, so it could be within like next year or the year after that.
Yeah, and like these other things. So like I don't know. Like I don't think people should take as much out of this as they are.
I was on like was it this other Discord server, and there was like a large like argument that DC confirmed the Hulk was stronger than Doomsday, and it like lasted for like an hour of just nothing but shit talking like the entire time.
Oh god,
That's sometimes.
But yeah, otherwise, like I do think that overall the book I think does a good job of tying everything up. It wasn't worth the 2 years.
Yeah, like I'm glad the ending was better than like because I originally thought like they're gonna make us wait this long and the final book's gonna be nothing but like crap. But the book was actually really good. And my only weird thing about that is like Dr. Manhattan, like I can't spoil it. Are we doing spoilers? Are we gonna talk about the ending or no? Because I don't want to like say anything.
I would say let's not, since it just came out today. But I do think that the ending overall is good, and I think it has a lot to do. Like if you watch the show, like I said, I think there's lots of parallels. Like there's lots of parallels between the two, and like very like I feel like there's a lot that's similar between the two, kind of in the end. So that's kind of all I'll leave it at. But like, yeah, I like what they did. I like that they revisit like every goofy thing that they brought up with in the series. So in that point, it's good. But it is a long ass. Like it is 46 pages. This
44.
Excluding
the two blackout pages. Yeah.
It's still pretty big. Is there any word on like a collected version coming out soon?
I'm sure they already did the first half of it as a trade.
I won't be surprised if they do a giant collected of all 12 issues.
Because that's what
I'm gonna get that. Yeah, I want a hardcover of that.
Yeah, and I'm guessing since it's like all the comic, I wonder if they'll do something where you can get like the before the Watchmen, and then Doomsday Clock with like all the button stuff all together.
That'd be cool.
Which is kind of weird because like the button really never tied into any of this. Like none of that stuff just kind of like was side stuff to it all, which is weird because the button is actually a great story.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the smiley face button, right?
I have the button like right behind me right now.
Yeah, besides it like having the button from the comedian, like it doesn't tie into anything.
Well, it just gives like the clue, the breadcrumb of like what's going on.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish you guys had read this and watched the show, because that would be a great conversation, which I think we can do at some point down the road when everybody's done both.
Yeah, because like the last
there's a lot of things in here that happen in both, which is interesting. But yeah, why don't we talk about or go through Crisis? This is our final episode of going over the last 2 issues.
Would you say this is our final Crisis?
Oh god! Hopefully,
I will leave the server. Thank you. You've been wonderful.
Although Final Crisis was written by Grant Morrison, so maybe that's something we'll read in the future. Oh man! But yeah, so we are on issue 11, and issue 12 is a double issue, so basically doing 3 issues again. And I'm trying to remember. So where we left off is
Simon kind of like destroyed Brainiac.
Yeah, Simon destroyed Brainiac. The Spectre pushed the Anti-Monitor through the portal. Flash is dead. Supergirl is dead. But they failed to stop the Krona from looking through the window. And basically,
man, I just remember something funny. I meant to bring it up when we were talking about Harley Quinn. You remember back when The Dark Knight Rises came out? Everyone was doing like that mock not Sean McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey?
No, remember the James Bond? He was in Highlander.
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery, there we go. You know how everyone was doing that mocking Sean Connery accent for Bane?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
that's Bane's voice in the Harley Quinn show. Like they mock Tron Con.
Oh, I heard about that.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny.
All right. So where we start is in the beginning there were many a multiversal infinitude, and we basically get to see there is now a Earth, and we are kind of going through and seeing that there is this is the aftershock. So we have old Clark Kent wakes up, he goes into the Daily Planet, and he sits down at the editor's chair, and Perry White's like, who the hell are you? He's like, oh shit, this is Perry White of Earth 1, I'm the editor. And Clark comes in, it's like, oh, this is my, what does he say, his uncle? Yeah, this is my uncle. And so Lois is there, but Lois doesn't know Superman is Clark. And the two of them like go up, and they're flying around, and they're super confused. This is where they go and fly and meet Jay Garrick. And Jay recognizes old Supes, but Jay's wife does not. And so this is where we get the beginnings of like the Earths are melding together and their timelines are kind of getting squished down. And then Wally West shows up and they check out the cosmic treadmill, and the four of them try to run on it. And they go to try to travel to Earth 2, and basically it is a black void. And then when they look out upon it, I actually think this is a kind of a cool scene. I wonder if we'll get it in the show in any way. Is Old Man Superman looking into the void? Does anybody want to read that one part where he's kind of monologuing for like a couple thought bubbles?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the mantle.
Is this the one where it's like, yo, I feel like I don't belong, that kind of thing?
Yes.
On that Earth, I belong elsewhere. I belong out here in the void and this nothingness. I see it now. Nobody remembers me because I don't have a past. Because I don't exist. Let me go. I belong in the dark.
Yeah.
I don't know what voice I was trying for there, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was like almost Jimmy Stewart.
I think I'm trying to go for Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, like I kind of like this idea that like looking into the void, it's like, oh, Old Man Superman kind of like is like almost trying to erase himself because he shouldn't exist, like he's an aberration. And then basically the treadmill breaks and they return to Earth, and he's basically turns to Clark and is like, it was calling the void, it was calling to me. And then we cut around, we see like our space people, Brainiac's ship, Dolphin finds Brainiac, but he looks dead, and all the heroes are together and they're like, what the shit is going on?
Oh, you also forget one of the defining great lines. Will cut my calories and call me skinny.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure who is it says that, but God bless that line.
I'm trying to look and see where that is. Is it the space people?
Yeah, it's on page 306 in the trade. Page
It's
10.
Blonde dude.
Oh, that's Animal Man.
Animal Man. Hell yeah.
That's old school Animal Man with the orange suit and the giant A. Because yeah, it's supposed to be Animal Man, Adam Strange, Dolphin, and I don't know who any of the other people are.
I think Adam Strange even called him out. He's like, "You think Brainiac was weird? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, it's like, hey, lay off my jokes. I got a rep to maintain. Yeah, so we go back to the base, and everyone's hanging out. And Superboy Prime goes, you, and it's Harbinger, and she's like, I summoned you here because this Earth is still in peril. And Cyborg's like, I thought you lost your powers. And they basically explain that there's like issues going on, and that so like Kal-El, the old Superman, like Lady Quasar, Lady Quark, and Pariah is a man without his own planet, and as is Superboy Prime. And basically they're all like trying to figure out what's going on. And we also cut to is like old Dick Grayson and is it Helena Wayne, I think?
I don't know if it's Helena Wayne or Donna Troy.
No, it's Huntress, so I think it's Helena Wayne. And Dick Grayson has like gray hair, and she goes and it's like, yeah, they're also leftovers from Earth 2, and all the timelines are kind of like back to normal, but stuff is weird, and you're just kind of flipping through, and Earth X has been completely eliminated. So there never was an Earth X, and they're just kind of going through, and everyone's freaking out, especially... Sorry, I had to cough. Kal-El, the old Superman, his Earth is not there, so like his Krypton never was, which means that he shouldn't exist. But the big thing is his wife. So, John, do you want to give this another shot with his big cry fly cry.
Which page are we on?
312 in the trade.
All right, I'm just trying to think of what voice I should use for this. Don't know if I should do something silly or something serious.
I want you to ham it up.
Okay. No, it isn't.
Oh,
And I understand it. Yeah, you said ham it up, so this is what I got.
Okay.
Is Steve
Yeah.
Buscemi?
See, no, he's trying to do walk. I think he's doing walking. I would have said go with like a John Wayne.
What
I don't
page are
know.
we on, by the way?
I don't.
Online at 6:16.
16.
Okay.
I can't do John Wayne. I can do Jimmy Stewart. I can go back to that.
Go ahead, do whatever you want to do.
No, it isn't, and I understand it all too well. Some things survived, and some didn't. My krypton never was, and I thought that means I shouldn't exist. I do only through some fluke, but my wife, my Lois, she's gone. Never was. No, this is unfair. Why was I kept alive when Lois vanished? Why did I go back in time instead of staying here? Instead of entering oblivion with my wife? Who are you people? Where am I? Where's my tapioca?
Yes.
I lost my dentures.
So our Superman
I'm missing
goes.
Bonanza.
Our Superman goes to encounter him, and then we see the Dead Man and Phantom Stranger are finding the Spectre kind of in some weird
Coma.
like stasis, or coma, and he's not getting out, but they need the power to save their universe. And then we have there's a detectives convention in Las Vegas, and someone is killed. And there's like a murder game afoot, and we got? I think it's Harvey Bullock, and I don't know the other character. Angel O'Day and looks like Christopher Chance. I don't know who these characters.
Christopher Chance is Human Target.
Oh wow. So yeah, they're doing this like murder mystery thing, and then we have all our magic people are together. So we have Dr. Fate, we have Etrigan,
We have Alan Moore. Just kidding.
Dr. Occult. Is that Amethyst? I think?
Yes.
Yes. She's trying to get into Gemworld, but Gemworld is gone. And we kind of have like every different section kind of dealing with the issues. So there's Wonder Woman and Donna Troy. Was it Power Girl and Shazam? And they go to Themyscira.
I do want to talk about really quickly. I do because as we're recording this, the Crisis, the first 3 parts of the crossover have happened, and I really like how the Shadow Demons look in that crossover.
Oh yeah, they look way better than they look kind of like
The Manhunter when he's flying around.
Yeah, I wasn't
I'm
gonna
say Black Flash.
Yeah, they look kind of like a combo of Black Flash and like a Dementor.
Okay.
Because they don't have legs, they're kind of like phantomy. But yeah, they have kind of a Black Flash kind of face and head.
Yeah, don't they move like speed rates or whatever they was little ghost things were that were hunting Barry at one point?
Yeah, the speed. They're kind of like that, yeah. They look a little bit different, but yeah, they look I'm guessing they use some stuff from Black Flash, which I don't mind.
No. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah, but we get the meeting from Earth 1, Donna Troy, and Wonder Woman with old Wonder Woman and her daughter, and then, what the hell is the mom's name?
Oh,
Wonder Woman's mom?
Hippolyta?
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 I think it's Hippolyta. Yeah, and basically everyone's meeting, and they're all like, what the hell is going on?
We also forgot more Superman and Old Man Clark line.
Old Man Clark is crying, and Superman's like, stop your bitching, like everything will be fine, and then they just kind of cut away.
Yeah.
But again, there is, how many people? 11 panels on that page. And then we get, go to like Thunderbolt Mountain, and at Thunderbolt Mountain is our setup basically for what we will end up getting to in the final issue, is that we see the antimatter like wave is still there, and something is going on, and Pry gets sucked away.
Antimatter takes over Alex's body again.
Yes. And then the Earth is, so let's see, the narrator still says, above the Earth is the scarlet skies, the universe seems to open. The yawning maw stares hungrily at the blue-gray globe which floats before it. The Earth shakes and protests, fights and screams, desperately trying to hold onto its space to lay claim to its orbit, but it fails. Suddenly it is gone, swallowed whole, a cosmic Jonah lost to some inter-universal whale. And we cut to it's only Superman and Old Man Superman are left, and they look up at the sky, and they are now in the antimatter universe. And the antimatter says, I'm trying to
Welcome
think.
to my universe. Welcome to your doom. It's an albino Namekian. Kill it like the rest.
No.
See, when I first read that, I read that as a yawning man, and I thought it was just Anti-Monitor taking a giant yawn, like, yeah.
So yeah, that is issue 11. So basically, issue 11 gave us like the kind of aftermath of like the world deal, like the characters who know what's going on dealing with this new amalgam
world.
universe. Yeah. Which I forgot that this happened, even though like I remembered it, the disappearing of the Earth. So have Connor or Ryan, have you guys have not watched the first 3 episodes of Crisis?
I have not. Do not care about spoilers.
I'm on like 1.5. I was halfway watching the second one, but you can spoil it. It doesn't matter.
Because one of the big things that happens at the end of the 3rd episode is that all of the Earths are gone. And I was like, oh shit, that's new, but I guess it's not, because that happened in the book in issue 11, and I forgot.
And here we go. You see, they're getting right ahead.
But they kind of jump right through that because you send and this is spoilers if you haven't the crossover, and this is for the others, your 7 Paragons off to who knows where, but kind of killing everything off.
Oh, they send them off to something from
Legends 1.
Season 1 of Legends, I think, or Season 2? Something like that.
That was a nice deep cut.
Yeah. So yeah, and they're the only ones left, kind of like what you have with the 2 Supermen here.
Oh, cool.
So they are doing a bunch of stuff. To kind of go into it before like we finish this, like I would say Black Lightning kind of took Dr. Light's part in many ways.
Yeah. Or Lady Quark?
Kind of both. They're kind of an amalgam, I guess, yeah. And
like if you think about it, because his whole Earth is gone, his family's gone.
And they do what he does. Chris Williams fucking crushes.
Oh my god, he's like, man, this just makes me want to go back and like watch all the finish up Black Lightning, because good god, he's so good here.
You also don't realize how goddamn big he is in that show, because everyone's so much smaller than him. Yeah. And then when he stands next to like Routh, and you're like, oh shit, Routh's big. And Chris Williams is just as big, except he's like a behemoth. Like he's a brick shithouse. Oh man.
I did like the fact they acknowledged Superman's a thing on his Earth too.
Yes, he says something like,
"Oh wait, the Superman thing's real." Oh, all these years.
Yeah. What the other thing I liked was the final episode, so Black Lightning had an episode during Crisis. So it was like Sunday was an episode of Crisis, Monday was episode 2, Monday night was an episode of Black Lightning, and then
that ties in.
That was a tie-in, like a tie-in comic. Like it's an entire episode basically of his Earth dealing with the Crisis. And we get to see like 2 other universe versions of Black Lightning, or like their worlds. I think it's
the
Earth
daughters.
1 and 2.
I think it's the daughters you see.
Yes, but you see all the other characters as well.
I'm kind of excited now to see if that's the rest of his season deals with that. Like knowing there are other Earths, or they're going to be on the same Earth. I have no idea how it's going to end.
Yeah, I kind of hope that if they don't make at least most of it one Earth, like I don't see the point of all this.
Yeah. I can see them putting like Black Lightning and Supergirl on the same Earth with everyone else.
Yeah. And then, so super spoilers here, because there's another thing I forgot was how big of this character is in the book, which I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with it. Well, they also basically got rid of Psycho Pirate. He's not involved in anything.
Yeah.
Rawr!
As far as now, because the Anti-Monitor just showed up, I think, in the 3rd episode.
Yeah, he just showed up like end of the 2nd episode, beginning of the 3rd, or somewhere near the end of the 3rd.
Yeah. And so you guys really don't care about spoilers, though?
No, I'm
I'll
fine.
be real with you. I'm probably never going to watch it.
Okay, because the first episode, they kill off Oliver.
Yeah.
Oliver Queen dies first episode.
Yeah, that's the end of the first episode. He's like, doesn't look like, he's like, the monitor's like, we have to leave, and he shoots the monitor and then stays behind.
He's like, has the planet been evacuated? Nope. It's not time.
Because Supergirl's Earth is being like destroyed, and he basically he postpones it enough to save 1 billion lives. The monitor says.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I think it's like 1 billion. Like 3 billion didn't make it, but 1 billion were saved.
Yeah, because of him. And he basically, so then he dies, and then the 2nd episode, his daughter and Sarah
Diggle and Constantine.
They use a Lazarus pit on another Earth.
Well, hold on. Before... Oh, wait.
Yes.
No, they do that.
No, that's after.
Yes,
Yeah,
after.
they use the Lazarus pit on another Earth, but they can't get his soul back. And in the third episode, Constantine goes, "Well, there's one place we can go, and it's Earth 666." And
Is that Lucifer?
Yep.
Yes,
Nice. I knew it.
and
Good stuff.
he's like, "I owe you one for helping me with with Mazikeen," and gives him a thing. And they go to Purgatory, and Oliver's Purgatory is Lian Yu, and he decides to stay. And then Jim Corgan shows up and is like, "Yeah, like you have something else. Like you're needed.
You're
Like,
going to
you have
become something else.
Yes, and if you don't know, Jim Corgan is like basically passes on something. His eyes glow, and if you don't know, Jim Corgan is the Spectre.
Cool.
So
basically,
Oliver Queen is the Spectre.
All right.
Yeah, so Oliver Queen is now the right hand of God.
Well, that's one way to go out. At least
Yeah.
at least you know your character's gone.
I would
the
love
next
to
two.
see Amel come back and have that explored more because that's just fucking cool.
The only thing I can see him coming back for is if he does Red Death in like a
That'd be
season
cool.
or two.
I feel like that seems more and more unlikely now that he's Spectre.
Yeah, but like
The whole takeaway from that is I want to see Constantine on Lucifer or like some kind of like episode with just them two.
yeah, Lucifer's only
there
doing
was-
one more season, so
Well, I know
there
that, but like
was something where the showrunners, the people who were involved with Lucifer, were talking about like, oh, maybe we can have a spin-off, and then they backtracked like, a spin-off's not happening. We just so everyone's clear right now, and I'm like, I mean, should it though?
I don't know who they would spin off from that show. Mazikeen?
Lucifer and Constantine.
yeah, they could
but
do
I
like a
don't know-
Hellblazer and like
I don't know if
Constantine,
he-
like a buddy
yeah.
cop.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
would do it though. I like the guy that plays Lucifer, Tom Ellis, because he's
Yeah.
done it for 8 years. Like I could see it's Matt. I can't remember his last name. Matt Ryan,
Matt Ryan is the one who plays about
Constantine.
Constantine.
Yeah, I like because he had
here's
his own
I'll be
show.
honest. My girlfriend loves Lucifer. I have not seen it in full yet. I've seen clips, and I feel like after this scene, I am now ready to fully watch the whole thing.
Oh, I love Lucifer. I would say like the first 3 or 4 seasons when it's on Fox, it's much more of a procedural until like the final season. And then the
Netflix makes it so much better. It's so good on Netflix.
Yeah, the Netflix season's like 6 episodes or 7 episodes, and it's so much like we got a way bigger budget and it's really dark and we're not wasting any goddamn time. And so it's all on Netflix now, so you can rip through it. And they're not, I think the first 3 or 4 seasons are like 13 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And he
how it
has-
is on
my-
on Netflix when they announced the last season. I think it was like 6 episodes, and then they announced they're just going to add another 6, so it's about 12 for the final season.
I heard
Oh,
12 to
that's awesome.
16.
Oh, it's 16 now.
I heard 16, but
Well, like
yeah,
they don't really have to do a whole lot. Like until the final season, there isn't a ton of special effects in that show, and the cast of it is like crazy. At some points because it has like a million cameos in it. I think I'm trying to remember. I think they show like 4 or 5 angels in the show, and like
There's about 4 that showed up for.
Yeah, Michael Imperioli was one of them at one point.
The best part was
Yes.
Neil Gaiman was the voice of God on the one episode, so it's just him talking like over the entire episode.
Yeah, and
So
the
it's-
other one was I can't remember his name, but he was in Psych. He was the head detective, and then he was in that weird.
oh my god,
like,
wait, Lassie?
Yeah,
yes,
Lassie. Yeah, he was
he was
crap.
John God.
yeah.
It's
Timothy
an episode
Olmstead,
where
I
like
love him.
it was actually like right before he had a stroke, so it was like the last thing he filmed because he did.
Okay.
I can't remember what was it, Gallivant, or he did
Yeah,
like a
Gallivant,
musical
he was
TV
on.
show, and then he did an episode of Lucifer, and then he had like a stroke.
Yeah, because he
he's
wasn't
okay
in the Psych
now.
movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
He wasn't in
damn.
the Psych movie. That's why he wasn't. Yeah,
yeah, he has like a tiny little like on computer screen cameo in the Psych movie.
right.
But yeah, he was really good in the episode, and there's like I don't know, it's really well done. And you see in that episode his power is just like asking people, what is it that you desire, and they reveal it to him. That's his only power, really, and that everything on Earth that is attracted to him, like, just wants to bone him, and he'll bow down anybody and all of them at the same time.
But yeah. So my girlfriend is not interested in the comic stuff. But I told her, I literally showed her the scene. I'm like, you're gonna want to watch this, and she's like, wait, Lucifer was on your thing last night? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, because Constantine, that's all Dark Horse, not Dark Horse, Vertigo stuff.
Verdict. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I somehow always mix up Dark Horse and Vertigo in my head.
And then I kind of told her it was a comic book thing. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Like Lucifer was he was a spin-off of of Sandman, which is supposed to be being made for Netflix. So I'm wondering if they're bumping it up the season to try to keep it around until that comes out, and to like backdoor Sandman like the other way around.
Would not be opposed to that, but that would be something if it was on Netflix.
I'm sure at
speaking
least
of
they'll have him.
Netflix, 2 days until The Witcher comes out, which is going to be.
Man.
It looks phenomenal.
I'm very excited.
Oh man! So I think we need to get back to this.
Let's finish.
Yeah, that was a huge tangent.
Yeah. So to start issue 12, basically we have our space heroes are like.
Rip
Oh, it
Hunter.
actually tells us who everybody is. It's Captain Comet from the Legion of Superheroes, Adam Strange, Dolphin. Oh my god, it's Rip Hunter.
Arthur Darkville looked cooler.
Yep. Animal Man, the Atomic Knight. And they're flying through space, and they realize that Earth is gone, and they repair Brainiac. And Brainiac's like basically like, yeah, shit's too messed up. I'm going to team up with you because there's nothing else that can be done. And then we see the two Supermen look, and the Anti-Monitor welcomes them to the antimatter universe.
Ha ha ha.
And they're basically like, what the hell is going on? We see the rest of our heroes kind of losing their shit, kind of going around. The Spectre is still unconscious, and then everything goes to black.
Also, this is where Wally West kind of finds out that Barry's dead, and he's like, the fuck?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, because the Anti-Monitor's talking, I believe.
He's monologuing, and he goes like, as your Supergirl died, as your Flash died, as so many others who tried to stop me died, and with its death, there will be none who can prevent my universe from replacing your own. And that's when Wally West goes like, wait, rewind 1 second. Barry's dead?
You murdered the Flash? It's like, well, you didn't murder him. The Flash just died.
Flash was kind of disintegrated. Poof.
He just pieced out, popped the deuces, walked away.
Yes, which when they did it in the show, it looked amazing.
And they did it not with Barry Allen. They did it with a different Barry Allen.
Yeah, Barry Allen 90 from Earth 90. So from the old TV show, that Barry Allen died. But yeah, Harbinger goes and collects the Superman and the Dr. Light and starts picking everybody up together, and everything goes black. And then they're like, oh, it's not actually black. It's just that the sky is so filled with all these shadow monsters that the sky has turned black, and they begin attacking the civilians. So we have all of our heroes fighting them. You have Green Arrow, Halo, Starman, Blue Devil, Aquaman and Aqualad and Mara, the Hawks, and I don't remember this character's name, but I remember he was in Justice League Unlimited. The dude riding the giraffe.
What?
What page is this on?
Sorry, what?
It's on page.
Oh, found it. Yep, dude riding a
That's
giraffe.
Animal. That's
That is not Animal Man.
I was gonna say. That's
I can't remember his name. He's in an episode of Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, but he's not on the giraffe. That caught me off guard with that.
It looks like he is riding that giraffe's neck, and you can't tell me otherwise.
No, it looks like he's about to he has it in like a chokehold. It's like the giraffe. But he looks so familiar. I can't remember his name.
He's probably a really bad racist character.
Yeah, probably Savannah Man hunting.
Well, there's like if you look to the right of him, there's like a Zulu Nation guy. I'm like, oh my god, like these are like the bad African heroes.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's supposed to be. They're in Africa, and then the Hawks are Egyptian, I guess, at this time period.
Okay.
And then you got Black Lightning and Cyborg. So everybody's fighting all the stuff in the sky. And then we cut to the Phantom Stranger, Dead Man. I'm trying to see who's this other person with them. Oh, it's like, what the hell's this guy's name? Shit. It's like Mordrew. No, it's not Mordrew. It's one of the other bad guy magicians, and they're trying to wake the Spectre. And then Harbinger basically goes to everybody. For more than a year, the Monitor observed and recorded information about you. He needed to know your powers and abilities. I was his assistant. I know much of what he knew. You may not be as powerful as some others, but your abilities are needed now. We cannot allow personal grievances to interfere with our mission. We must work as a team. Alexander Luthor, are you ready? I am Harbinger. And basically, so they're going to do a super team up again, just like they did before. And then Alexander Luthor is going to carry them all to go fight the Anti-Monitor.
Meanwhile, everyone on Brainiac ship decides to stop at a random planet just so they can grab some help. And who do they get? Apocalypse.
Yeah, they land on Apocalypse or Darkseid because that is where Brainiac brings them, the only being that can fight against it. And then on the next page, we actually get, which I completely forgot, our third death, like I guess superhero death, which is Dove dies. Like Dove dives hard by one of these shadows.
Dove gets brutally murdered.
He gets pulled in half or sheared. I don't know what you would call disintegrated.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like his entire back is like ripped out, and
That's
like his
nasty.
arm is like blown off. Yeah, he gets murdered hard.
He got Naplet. Not Naplet. He got he got Yamcha with his like fist. Like the fist went through his chest.
So then we go to
Salem.
All of the magic users in Salem at the Tower of Fate have united. So you have Zatanna, Zatara. I can't remember. It's like Lady Xanadu,
Dr. Fate.
There's Felix Faust right there too.
Yeah, Felix Faust, Etrigan. I can't remember what. That's the genie guy who was actually in Doomsday Clock. I can't remember his name. And then
that was the guy who was at the lamp. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then at the center is Dr. Occult and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So I think one of those is Constantine, maybe? No, it doesn't look I think Constantine's the guy at the top in the jacket. Johnny Thunder, that's who it is the guy in the jacket. And then the genie, I can't remember his name. So that's what that old guy in Doomsday Clock used to look like. And so then on the planet of Quard, the rest of the heroes gather up, and this is the last time like Barry Allen, when he was jumping through time, shows up, and Wally goes to find him, and he sees the Psycho Pirate pulling at the costume.
Which is kind of like funny in a really darkly humorous way.
Yes. Does anybody want to read all of this Psycho Pirate lines?
Oh, I'll do Psycho Pirate. Let me just find Psycho Pirate. Oh, there he is.
I was thinking of like Ed Wynn, or like the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I was gonna keep doing the pirate voice, but
Oh, do the pirate voice. Do whatever you want. Your choice.
All right. Yeah. Let me. Okay, I think I'm where everybody else is. Right after,
Yeah, Ryan, do you want to do Wally West?
Yeah, I can think of a voice for Wally. Yeah. Which one should I do? Where would I start?
Start right after Superman says his thing.
Okay. I can't pray. Hold on. I can't.
I would say don't make him the same as Barry. Give him a little.
Yeah. I kept praying, hoping, but it's true. Look.
Yeah, come on, Flash. You said you'd save me. You promised you would. You promised. The Anti-Monitor, he lied to me. But I know you wouldn't. You're one of the good guys. Good guys never lie. I'm scared, Flash. So frightened. He's gonna kill me unless you save me. Don't just sit there. Help me. Save me.
And then no.
No, I thought that continued. That's the speech bubble.
No, it's the no is going on underneath.
Yeah, sorry, that was my bad. Okay. Yeah, then so come on. Yeah, come on. I told you. I was sorry for hurting you before. But save me now. Save me now.
No. Let that uniform alone. Get your stinking hands off of it. Let him go, you maniac. Let it go.
Yeah, and this is where we get the transition from Wally being Kid Flash to... Oh no, he doesn't actually do it yet. The next page, we get this awesome
whale monster. Whale monster. It's like a kaiju whale, like in armor from Japan.
I feel like because he absorbed all his energy, now I'm just thinking of Mr. Popo.
Oh, you should definitely do it as Mr. Popo.
You whimpering fools! It is already too late. From the moment you set foot on Quad, you sailed your own fates. This is the day the universe dies. I am so fucking high right now.
Yep. And so we get a look at Atlantis and everything's going on. And I believe so. We get another death, which is a mermaid person. And we see everyone fighting all around the world, and they're getting hurt. The magic people are losing it, and just then the Earth they trap all the shadows in their giant magic thing and like a ball, and then we have everybody's battling the Anti-Monitor. So we have Superman, Firestorm, Jade, Shazam, Wonder Woman, both Wonder Women, Lady Quark, Captain Atom, the Ray, Firebrand. And so then we go to Harbinger. Alexander Luthor and Dr. Light are waiting on an asteroid. And basically, it's like everything is in position. The Anti-Monitor is feeding on that star to give him power. And basically, they're like, Dr. Light, you need to absorb that sun's energy in order to sap the Anti-Monitor of his power. And she does so. The Anti-Monitor is weakening, and he starts going to attack them. And this is when Alexander Luthor uses his power. He has to do it. He blasts the Anti-Monitor. So, John, do you want to read? I'll read Alexander Luthor's stuff, and then do you want to take over Anti-Monitor here at the bottom? I think it is 348 in the trade.
348. Okay, so where are you starting?
In the Alexander Luthor, I'll say, like Kimio said, I have to do this. Dr. Light's absorbing energy from that star, and that will weaken the Anti-Monitor. I'm attacking him directly, using my powers to drain his Anti-Monitor energy. But even this two-sided attack isn't enough. Everything else we plan must work as well.
I've told you time and time again, maggots. I cannot be destroyed. You will die. And then your world and your very universe will fall you into oblivion. I will tolerate no further defeats.
Yes, and through this...
I'm too tired. Good God, I'm sorry. That was awful.
Harbinger does... Is it... No, Pariah talks to Negative Man, who releases his energy, and he... So let's see. Dr. Light releases her energy. Negative Man releases his energy. No, it's Negative Woman. I'm sorry.
Wraps around him.
Yeah, and ties him up. So Dr. Light blasts him. Everybody else blasts him. Harbinger blasts him. Yeah, Dr. Light uses the power of the sun that she absorbed, and they blast him into a crater, and the light is gone from his eyes. For just a moment, the Anti-Monitor's body explodes with light, his every eternal organ bursting through armor and flesh. He is slammed into the ground, his body smashing through stone and rock as if it were water. And thus, the Anti-Monitor is now officially Deadsville. So the Earth and all of the heroes are returning back to their normal universe. They start to go back there. We see a little bit of light inside the Anti-Monitor's armor. They fly towards their home. The shadow demons that were sealed up, break away. And they return to the Anti-Monitor's body, and he rises again. And this is when he... How is it? Oh, he blasts and kills Wonder Woman. Like, regular Wonder Woman. And I guess...
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so Wonder Woman is dead.
And that seems like really casual. Just like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman dies. Oops.
Yep.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah. The two Supermen freak out, and they just start. And Lady Quark, the two so Superman and Lady Quark go to attack, and then Old Man Superman's no, knocks them both out, hands Lady Quark to Superboy, and tells him to take Lady Quark and the younger Superman away. Old Man Superman stays behind to basically hold off the Anti-Monitor, as they are going to seal off the antimatter universe. So they're fighting and they're blasting each other and all this shit's going on. And then Superboy Prime returns, because this is all important for the future of DC Universe, because he has nothing left to return to, as well as Alexander Luthor. And Alexander Luthor, I believe he gets... Is it... Darkseid is giving him power. And he sees the two Supermen battling. They throw a moon at the Anti-Monitor.
Very casual,
Yes.
Just throw a moon at people when you're angry.
And they're battling him, and Darkseid. What the hell is Darkseid doing?
He's looking through the eyes of Alexander Luthor, seeing what he sees. And yeah, by the looks of things, giving him power at the same time.
Yes. So yeah, the Anti-Monitor's armor is completely destroyed by their attacks. He still gets up. He hasn't yet been destroyed. He blasts them again. Yes, and this is... they can't get free. The Anti-Monitor has them. And Darkseid goes, I cannot allow him victory. Should he regain his strength, Apocalypse may be his next target. And basically uses his science to...
Oh, my bad. Oh,
it was just funny timing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And basically uses his power to go through Alexander Luthor's and blasts the Anti-Monitor with, I guess, his Omega energy.
See, that sound effect we just heard, I'm now picturing is what's coming out of Alexander Luthor's eyes.
Well, I'm
Yes.
glad I could have helped.
So the Anti-Monitor screams as his body drives deeper and even deeper into the binary sun's burning core. And basically he comes out saying, "I will not die, I'll take you with me." And then Old Man Superman punches him in the face and he explodes into the sun. And basically they say, like, everything's going to be obliterated if we don't stop it. Everything for millions of miles in all directions. And so what they decide to do is seal themselves off to stop the explosion. And in this, we get the scene at the end where Old Man Superman's like, we fought the good fight, we succeeded, I wish only Lois had survived. And then Alexander Luthor's like, yeah, guess what? Boop, here's a door that's coming out of my body, and it's your wife. And
Man,
wife
I just want
door.
to point something out. There is no freaking way that this battle is going to be done in the CW crossover.
no, there's no way.
God, no.
There's no fucking way.
That's like movie money to get like these effects of people in space and fighting gods and throwing moons.
Yeah, well, they did show in some concept art that at some point the Anti-Monitor is going to be gigantic, because they showed there was a concept art of like scale.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as he has his dumb teeth, I'll be happy.
Oh, I hate those teeth.
Or the helmet. Give him that Juggernaut helmet.
Can you imagine Monica Garrett's just in that stupid ass helmet?
Sadly, I can.
Anyway.
Yep. So Lois, Old Man Superman, Superboy Prime, and Alexander seal themselves away to never be heard from again for 25 years.
Casual.
Yes. And then Harbinger is basically, what is this? It's over. So the last couple pages, it is over at long last, and though much of what has happened defies explanation, you've been able to determine some truths. Fact 1, the apparent death of Wonder Woman. When the Monitor's weakened death beam struck the Amazon princess, she did not die. She was somehow sent back through time, devolving as she did, from woman to girl to infant to her original state of creation of clay. Wonder Woman was not born of flesh and blood, but formed from clay and given life by the gods themselves. Time continued to reverse. Her clay spread itself across Paradise Island, and basically the Amazons were returned to the Grecian island. Mount Olympus, Zeus looked down and saw a grave misjustice had been dealt. Earth Choose Wonder Woman was basically taken up and took a place as on the gods with the gods, and her Earthborn husband, and they lived there happily ever after. Fact 3: the bodies of Robin, Huntress, and Cole were never found. Still, there were graveside services. They would not be forgotten. In Atlantis, they mourned Lori Lamaris and Tula, who was Aqua Girl. Superman and Power Girl remember Kal-El, Lois, and Supergirl. Let's see.
Green Arrow died according to a newspaper read by Wildcat.
Yes, Green Arrow's among the dead. Wally West is the new Flash. He puts on the suit, and he's no longer Kid Flash. From this day forth, he is the Flash. Jonah
While
Hex.
this is all going, we're all getting a narration on one side panel from Lila.
Yes, and so from death comes life, and basically, like, the future is brighter and more hopeful.
Except for where Jonah Hex is. That place is crazy.
Yeah, so, like, Kamandi gets a new thing. Jonah Hex is in the future, which was a comic book. All of this, like, disrupts the Guardians of the Universe, which we'll see the outcomes for a very long time of how the Guardians split. And then it's Lady Quark, Pariah, and Harbinger. And basically, she's been dictating all this stuff. And basically, they're like, oh, come explore the world with you. And basically, like, they say, like, life must go on. We get, like, a Mufasa thing with the Monitor in the clouds.
With his crazy eyebrows and weird head stuff.
Yeah, his weird hairline.
He's just got a unique face, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then in the epilogue, we see that Psycho Pirate is basically the only other person to remember the multiple Earths, and he's locked away in Arkham.
And he's gone cuckoo.
Yes.
More so than usual.
Yeah, because now he remembers.
Yes, and that is the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which
We did
sets
it.
up. Yeah, we did it, and it sets up comic books for the next 20-ish years, I think.
Oh, damn.
'Cause I think
Okay.
Infinite Crisis is like 2005.
20 issues or 20 years?
20 years. I think Infinite Crisis is
December 2005 to June 2006.
yes. So was that 25? No, 30 years, right? 86, almost 30 years to the dot.
Yeah.
Because Crisis on Infinite Earths was 86 to 87, so like
Yes.
29 years.
Solid. That's a solid amount.
No, Crisis was 85 to 86.
Okay, so it's 30. Like basically, it's like 30 years on the dot then until Infinite Crisis. So basically, we get 20 years. No, 80.
2015 would have been 30.
Okay, you're right. 20 years to the dot. I can't do math. Yeah, and it takes 20 years to change continuity once again, and now it happens every 3.
5G, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, well, it goes like Infinite Crisis, and then we get the 52, and then it goes to Final Crisis, and then Flashpoint, and New 52, and Rebirth.
Okay,
So-
that sounds solid.
Yeah, because
Now,
we were talking about before, 2011 is when New 52. So, yeah, in 6 years, there's like 3 iterations of Earth compared to the 20 before it.
Now, here's my question. What did we all think of this one, going back and reading it?
It was
Or
my
reading
first
it.
time reading it.
I was going to say reading it for the first time, rather.
It was good. I didn't really. I'm very vocal about how I didn't really like the beginning few issues. And especially for someone like me, I was not raised on DC Comics, so getting into this and seeing all these heroes I had never even heard of before, especially from 30 years ago, it was a little jarring at the beginning. But once people started dying and Earth started condensing, it became much easier to digest and understand what's going on. Like the last 6 issues are very good in my opinion. I really like those.
I can see that. My first time reading this was this past summer.
Mhm.
And I do remember that the things I was thinking of were, I was like, all right, there's parts of this I'm enjoying it, but there's parts of this I could cut out.
Yeah, definitely would cut.
Oh,
some
there's
stuff.
like huge, which they have done in the TV show. So, yeah, like I think that's kind of my first thing. Is like, so I read it for the second time this summer, and this is kind of like my third time going through. It's like all that stuff with the villains is completely pointless.
Yes.
It goes absolutely. It basically leads. It's like side plot that gets us to Brainiac, who gets us to Doomsday. I mean, to Darkseid. And that's all it does for like one thing at the very end. So like all of that can go. And like there's just like the jumping around takes like way too long. Like there's so much like, okay, so I'm gonna let you guys take a break. Like the monitor's like, all right guys, take a break and think about what we're gonna do and go back to your Earth and look at the chaos. And then that's like 4 or 5 pages. It's like we don't need to do all that stuff. But
Exactly.
I get why Crisis on Infinite Earth is a thing. It did what no one else had even thought to do for so long, which is kind of deal with the problems that DC had at the time, which a lot of like Marvel had at the time. Marvel didn't really have it as bad because it wasn't as old. But DC's biggest problem was that like they had all these different eras of their heroes and like they were so different. And then they're like, oh, we'll just make it a multiverse and all these Elseworlds. And they kind of played with the idea, and then it just became too big. And so this was the way to fix all that continuity problem, which now it's kind of this ever growing and expanding. So it's like, oh, we need back to one Earth, and then Infinite Crisis happens. Now we're back to several Earths, and then Final Crisis happens. We're back to one Earth. And then I think that's what happens in Final Crisis. And then Flashpoint happens. Now we have New 52, and it's multiple Earths again. And then like Rebirth is like, I don't even know if there's multiple Earths in Rebirth now. I guess Doomsday Clock says there are.
No idea.
I think we're still in that kind of multiple Earth thing. So yeah, they keep kind of blowing it up. Like the idea is like multiple Earths let you kind of get away with continuity because you're like, oh, this is just an Elseworld story. And they kind of were like, that's too hard for people to jump into comics. So Final Crisis is like a way to kind of clean the slate, which is exactly what Flashpoint kind of did, but in reverse. It cleaned the slate of all the other stuff and restarted continuity all over again. While like on the Marvel side, they always had these other Earths, but they never really did stories in a specific universes until I think the Ultimates, like that. Like they never had like a series or multiple series on those Earths when DC did that a bunch. Right. I think like Justice Society books were like still going on for like a long ass time. So yeah, like I think you can't get to what we get to in like giant crossovers until this book. Like this is the original giant crossover book.
Exactly.
Which is crazy because there's goddamn like 3 giant stories from DC in the same time period.
What a time we live in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I like how they're paring stuff down in the TV show, but did anybody else have any final thoughts on the book?
I enjoyed the book. There's a lot of chaos for like the 80s, like it usually is for big events.
Yeah, when Eric Fedor was on, he's just like, yeah, it just reminds me of like how impenetrable books from that time are because there's just so much, like there's so much to read. Like it's reading. It's not like looking at art. Like they're telling and not showing. Mm-hmm. Like that would be the other thing. Like so much of the dialogue and like boxes could be cut down. And I get like Marv Wolfman's a good writer. Maybe let your artist show a bit more.
Yeah, show don't tell in a lot of cases.
Not kill him with 17 panels on a page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, comics need to have those things so that later down the road they can have, I don't know, stuff like Hawksbox, where it's like a nice balance between art and heavy exposition.
Pretty much. Well
comics.
Said. Da 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 da.
Yeah, what about you, Lou? Any final thoughts on this series? Because I think you're the one now who's read it the most.
It's so much. Like, I would never, ever hand this to someone. Like, this is a story for someone that's, like, a veteran, like a hardcore veteran of comics.
Oh,
and
God,
a hardcore veteran of DC Comics in particular. Yeah. Like, there's so much, like, we went through, it's like, I don't know a lot of the characters that just, like, there's just so many panels of, like, here's a random bunch of characters. Like, I'm going to flip to a page. That's a bad example. All right, so there's like Aquaman, Aqualad, Tulla, Blue Beetle, The Question, Dolphin, Ocean Master, Black Manta, Animal Man. I think that's Black Canary, and those are mostly like. But Dolphin is like Dolphin and Tulla and Aqualad are like the lowest. Like Dolphin's like an F-list character, but like here's
the thing: if this is your first comic you're ever reading, bad idea.
Yeah. This is definitely like a go back to after you're like, oh, how did we get here in comics kind of a thing, which is why I think they're doing it on the TV show. And it does work great for, like cleaning stuff up, this idea. And it's where the word crisis kind of is now like synonymous with DC almost to its detriment.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Mm-hmm. But it is not the worst crisis. Like, I definitely think if you go and read Infinite Crisis, I think it's better than that. There are lots of things I like in Identity Crisis and parts that are completely unnecessary in it. It's very much a book of its time and is also kind of the plot reasons for why Infinite Crisis happens. I have yet to read Final Crisis, so that is the next one on my list. That is a much bigger book.
I'm going to read Infinite and Final Crisis at some point in my time.
Infinite Crisis is like a third of the size of this, and it has like a tenth of the words.
Oh, thank God.
I think I read it in a day, in like an hour or two.
Oh, thank God. That makes a little more motivated to read it.
Yeah. Like I would say like if this is 12 issues, but there's 2 doubles, so it's like 14. I think Infinite Crisis is maybe like 6.
Oh, thank God. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, Final Crisis is big though.
I had a question. I was just thinking about this for the TV Crisis. I like it just popped in my head. Would a character like Lucifer have multiple versions, or would there only be one Lucifer?
The way they explain it in the show is that there are some characters that exist across times and Earths, and then there's different versions of them. So we see. I'm trying to remember. I think we see like 5 Supermen or 4, and 2 of them look like Tyler Hodgkin. Is that his name, Hodgkin?
Yeah.
One is Tom Welling, and one is Brandon Routh.
I figured there would be like multiple versions of like regular people, but like Lucifer would be like an angel or like a divine being.
Yes,
What
the way they kind of explain it is that, at least how it seems with Constantine, like how they're talking, is that certain beings are beyond.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And he may have just chosen to live on that earth.
Yeah, that's what
I feel like the idea they're going for.
That's what I thought, because Constantine would be from like a totally different universe, but he's just going to a different universe to talk to Lucifer. That's what I figured, since like Lucifer was like, I want to quit. I'm going to go somewhere else where no one can find me, so I'm going to go over here.
Because I can't remember what it is. They even make reference to like something happening to Constantine. He's like, oh, that's different from my past or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It was like a reference to his show. I think it had to do with Jim. Oh, it was when they met Jim Corrigan, and like Jim Corrigan showed up, and it's like, I'm Jim Corrigan. It's like, oh, you're different than Jim Corrigan I met, and that's because in the Constantine show he met Jim Corrigan.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up because I was thinking like,
yeah, I would say it's kind of like the idea of, I think it's like a recent thing, like the new gods exist kind of like they are like them in all universes. There isn't like different new gods. There's just them. Like, so there's there is just the dark side. Like, there's not like several.
Yeah, that clears things up because I was thinking like, so they would be like a four-dimensional being, like they exist outside of that universe in a constant state. Okay.
Yeah, and Infinite Crisis is 7 issues. So I was just looking that up. So yeah, which if you don't know that one, that is basically the story of like these characters that we end with in Final Crisis returning because they hate the shit show that is Earth, as they left it, and what it became in the 90s, which I think if you read it as a satire, like kind of on 90s comics and like early 2000s comics, it works so much better. But yeah, I guess, is there anything else before we close out?
I think you got it covered there.
We got everything we needed.
All right, so that is our final episode on Crisis on Infinite Earths. We're finally goddamn done with this fucking thing.
Oh, God.
It's probably the last one for the year because next Wednesday is like Christmas.
Yeah, I won't even be in town. I won't be able to do anything.
And then the Wednesday after that is New Year's Day.
Yep. We'll take a bit of a break. But yeah, and then when we come back, it'll be probably our next episode is when the finale
Crisis ends.
When Crisis ends. So yeah. And I'm still waiting to see if they bring back, I think, is it Hanukkah right now?
It's Hanukkah, I think, on the 21st? 22nd?
Okay. I was going to say, hopefully they bring back the most powerful Jewish superhero that they've done in the Arrowverse, which is Ragman, who they have completely, like, ignored that he even existed.
Well, one of the most powerful mutants of all time is Santa Claus in the MCU, so...
Wait, what?
Can you imagine, like, Santa Claus is like an Omega level mutant.
Is that what they explain it as?
No, he's literally an Omega level mutant. He's like, he warps time space. That's like his thing.
That's fucking hilarious.
And there was in DC, what is it? Once a year, Santa Claus goes through Apocalypse and fights through like the defenses of like Darkseid just to give him coal, and then escapes.
Yes, I have read that comic. That is.
Yeah. Good to see Santa just fighting crime. Well, not really crime, but dishing out lumps of coal.
Yeah. So I guess we could end it with saying we're done with this. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all those things.
Happy holidays, wherever you celebrate. May you spend time with your loved ones and the people you care for.
And hopefully your world doesn't become one with the infinite Earths and shatter all reality, because that would be a bummer holiday.
Yeah, I can't help you with that one. That sucks.
You need a whole list of DC heroes that are dead now.
Yeah, so we'll catch you in the new year. So, adios.
Take care, guys.
I love you all.
The clock strikes 12.
Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
And now, comics.